Hafide and Tiro, Next Level Media reporting here at the Speaker of the House. And here today we have
Hafide, Tiro. My name is Edmund Villagomez, Speaker of the House, 23rd Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Legislature.
Speaker. Can you tell us a bit about your background and how it influences your approach to governance?
Thank you very much. My background, we'll start with my education. Here in the CNMI, in terms of high school, I attended the Northern Marianas Academy. I am not sure if that school's in existence anymore, but it was a very unique program. Really encourages you to be more independent. You graduate with your associate's degree, and so you get a really good head start in life in terms of your education. And then I went on to the University of Hawaii at Hilo, where I got a degree in psychology, mixing it up with some business background. And then from there, within that program too, I had the wonderful opportunity to work at Walt Disney World through their internship program. I got under a communications class, so it was a real eye opener and a real lesson in terms of management. So I got to intern as a guest relations type of management at a restaurant. After I graduated, of course, I came back home. I started out in PSS as a classroom teacher, and that's where my eyes kind of opened up in terms of giving back to the community. And after my stint at the public school system, I had the opportunity to work at the Department of Commerce. And one of my responsibilities there was also to review legislation that affects the economy, that affects our department, and anything where our department was a stakeholder. That was part of my duties and responsibilities, and from there it opened my eyes to public service, and that's where I guess it led me to where I am today and the past 7 terms that I've been in office. In terms of the approach of governance, I think one of the main things that our constituents would like to see is leading by example as much as possible, and I try my best to do that. Of course, it's in this line of work, it's almost like a balancing act. It's a game of numbers. Whenever you want to move something forward, so you got to build relationships. You gotta make some compromises, and build the spirit of working together, whether you agree or disagree. Just coming together to work together to move things forward to make life in the CNMI better. So that's the approach I have when it comes to governance. Thank you.
Can you discuss the role of the Speaker of the House and its difference with other members of Congress? Please explain it to us in common terms so that our youth could understand.
Thank you very much. Usually the misconception that we get out in the public as a speaker is that I'm the boss. And to a certain extent, I am the boss, but I'm more of like the manager. I like to think that a boss has the authority to fire people and hire people, but in this line of work, it's the people that hire us. So one of the only ways you can probably get terminated is when the next election comes and you don't please your bosses, right? Then they take you out. So that's democracy. But the role of the speaker is like I am the chairperson of the committee of the whole. I manage the House. I have the authority to, when we have sessions, I have the authority to kind of say what goes on the agenda, what doesn't. I have the authority to appoint the chairpersons of each committee. I also have the authority to create special committees in the event something comes up that needs a special attention, whether it's ethics or as everybody is aware of now, the special committee on the federal funds or like the boost investigations that's happening, that's within my authority. So I guess the difference between the position of the speaker and the other members in the House is that the authority given to me by the House rules and of course the setup. That's mainly the difference. Yeah.
Is there a particular quote, motto, or philosophy that you live by? And if so, what does it mean to you personally?
Well, on a personal level, one of the quotes I try my best to live by, although sometimes it gets difficult, is to treat others the way you want to be treated. So, especially in this line of work, it's I try to use that to be the guiding light. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's right and not what's popular. So you get put in positions where you really need to make tough decisions, and sometimes it's very unpopular. I've been in positions where people come up to the legislature lobbying for a certain bill to be pushed, and I stood alone voting against it. But I just felt that it was the right vote to do. So that's one quote. And then also there were so many different lessons that were passed down to me when I first ran, and one of the things I was taught too was also to try to get the emotions out of when it comes to making decisions, and try to focus more on the principle of the matter, because sometimes we get caught up. I've seen some members in the past get caught up with whatever personal differences they have, and when their opponent or the person they disagree with has a really good idea, they let that personal rivalry or the personal difference make them vote in almost like an irresponsible way, and not like it's a good idea. Even though I disagree with this guy on most ideas, this is a good idea, but they it clouds their mind, the emotion. So try to focus on principle over the emotional factor of it. So I try to live by that too when we make decisions in the chamber. Although it's tough sometimes, because debates can get heated, discussions can get heated. Sometimes constituents tend to change their mind, and that's also the wild card in how we operate. But to the best of my ability, I try to operate within those confines, and also try to lead by example.
Collaboration and negotiation are key aspects of leadership. How do you approach working with members from across the political spectrum to find common ground on important legislative matters?
Thank you. I try to be as real as possible. I remember in my first term, this is my second term as speaker. In the last term, the first bill that we actually passed out of the House that actually became the first law under the 22nd legislature was a bill from a member from across the aisle. I'm more of, like I said earlier, what's a good idea? What's very beneficial for the people of the CNMI? How can this help improve the CNMI, move forward? How can it make life easier? How can it improve our economy? That's what I'm all about. So whether you're my sworn enemy or not, if you're pumping out good ideas, if you're pumping out good legislation, if you're pumping out sound policy, I'll stand by you, and I'll grab that flag with you and run it across the island to make sure we see that it goes through. That's just my style. Of course, there are others that will do the trade-off kind of thing. You pass this, and I'll pass yours, or you lobby for this, you lobby for mine, I'll lobby for yours. That's one way, but again, I focus on the matter at hand, and how the quality of the policy put before us. That's mainly my style. So, and from there, I just push forward. Sometimes I think with me, like especially when it comes to the other chamber, the Senate, when bills go there, I kind of try to. And even with my chairpersons, right, I let them lead their committee. They're the ones leading their committees, and I let them run their committee as they should in terms of reviewing policies and bills, making it move forward. And same with the Senate. Maybe I should be a little more aggressive and go there and be like, hey, where's our bills? Why are they sitting? But then at the same time, this is where the trade-off comes in, is on our end, are we also pushing out their bills, right? That's at some point, even if a bill is good or not, it's gonna get to you. It doesn't really get to me too much, but I see how it is with some members. Like, especially if we're in agreement, we're like, okay, you push this and I'll push that, and then you push what I asked you to push, and I'm not pushing your bill. Of course, even if you kind of see my point, it's still going to bother you a little bit, right? It's like, hey, we had an agreement here and you're not living up to your end. So that's the whole dynamic of this. And like I mentioned earlier, it's almost like it's pretty much a numbers game, right? Majority, most of the numbers move, majority of the numbers is what moves things. But yeah, when it comes to anything across the aisle, I've always been about what's on the bill. Yeah, the quality of the bill.
Speaker Villagomez, what was your campaign platform, and how closely do you feel you've stuck to your campaign platform? Why or why not?
Okay. My platform, I guess people say it's very generic, very standard. Of course, the platform is always to try to improve the key services in the CNMI, which is, public health, public safety, public education, and am I missing anything else? Yeah, and basically the economy. I feel that I never fully accomplished the platform. Again, there's a lot of moving parts. You can introduce, again, like I said, good policy, and for some reason, if it doesn't move in the House, it doesn't move. To say that I've never tried is I've always tried, but I always feel I never was able to fully. I don't think anybody has ever fully hit their platform, but I can say that I always give it my 100% in trying. So for example, one of the first bills that I was very proud of that took almost the entirety of my first term, and this was in collaboration with the Department of Commerce, because they oversee the ABTC, which is the Alcoholic Beverages and Tobacco Control, was updating the underage drinking law, and that was very that was successful, but it took almost 3 years to get signed into law. Again, that's one thing I was proud of. I've introduced some bills that would also help out like veterans and also give like local entrepreneurs and longtime businesses here in the CNMI incentives to expand their investments, especially investments that where the services are needed. Like, for example, if I own a clinic and I just operate in Garapan and there's a shortage of clinics or whatever in Cagman, I got to revisit the whole language of the bill because I haven't introduced it. I think I only reintroduced it twice, and since it never moved, so it kind of gives you an incentive to open like another clinic, say in Cagman, where the service might be needed, and things like that. Now, when I look at the platform, my ultimate goal is hopefully to see, in the legislature, you want to see your bill become law. And when it doesn't become law, for me, it's like, man, I didn't fulfill that part of my platform. But I'm always trying. One of the things I was very proud of for 10 years, or about 10 years, myself and the late Felicidad Darling Ogumaro, former vice speaker, congresswoman that also served in the first legislature, we opened the Garapan Community Development, okay, I forgot already. The Community Center, Garapan Community Development Center down. It's by Plumeria Steakhouse. Where the Carolinian Affairs office is. That one building that goes this way, facing the basketball court. That time money was really tight, but we were able to open the center there, which provided different kind of services to the community. It was really her idea. I partnered up with her, and we were able to partner up with different agencies like the public library, the adult basic education. So families and those that want to get back on their education that live more on the northern and the central side of the island, were able to come and attend those classes. especially when fuel is expensive, and the NMC campus is pretty much on the south side, so it provided more opportunities for people to come and attend those classes. And then we also provided other opportunities because everybody was hurting financially then that needed to provide services. So the fact that we were able to have a center, DYS and DCCA were able to do their community read aloud programs, their parenting classes, things like that. And then we also had a place for the students in that area of our precinct to come and get some tutoring. It's a center pretty much. So that's one of the things I've been proud of. So it's like providing service to the community, coming up with policies that will help the hospital, like I said, the healthcare, the safety, and the education of our people. Again, do I feel like I fulfilled all my platforms? Again, my goal is always, let's see if we can get it to become law. And if it doesn't, then I feel like I've come up short. But I can say that I've tried and I keep trying. I'm not slacking on it.
Outside of your political responsibilities, Speaker Villagomez, what are some of your hobbies and interests that help you unwind and recharge?
In terms of unwinding and recharging, one of the things I enjoy doing for physical activity, and I guess I can call it physical therapy, is I make time to go to the gym, because there's I don't think there's any better way to release the stress. That's better. What better way than when you're angry at something, just taking it out on that. That, and then of course spending time with family and just winding down with that. That's always one of the best ways to unwind. I have this hobby too of I haven't done it in a while, but I like going to the movies, whether it's with others or by myself, just to watch a good film. Yeah, that's one way. I haven't done that in a while, but I enjoy that. That was a hobby I've had, I think, since college or my later part in high school. It really helps me just relax and things like so. That kind of stuff, hanging out with friends and family too as well.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Well, if I look back right now, right, I can say just stay the course. Maybe focus more and be, set your priorities and try to follow them at least a little more strictly than I have. That's it. But also to just enjoy the ride, take advantage of the opportunities that come your way, and also don't just sit back and wait for opportunities to come your way, but also go for them as well. Try as much as you can to live your life without any regrets, and always expect the best, but also prepare for the worst, because you never know.
What do you see as the top issues facing the CNMI?
I'm pretty sure you've heard this throughout all your the interviews that you've done, but of course, I always believe the economy is definitely a top issue, and of course, people will bring up education, health. Yes, I agree. Those things are important as well. But with a strong economy, the economy definitely can provide the resources needed to provide and improve on those services. It also will provide opportunities for jobs, provide opportunities for more industry to open up here in the CNMI, and also to expand. A strong economy really can put us in a position to where more people would want to come here. That'll bring up our tourism as well, and also in terms of self-governing and like they say, self-determination. Although we are in political union with the United States, it gives us more of that control. But that's definitely a top issue. Another issue too is, money is always an issue, whether it's operating in the government and other things. And we got to do our best to find ways to generate more revenue for the CNMI, which again, it goes back to the economy, but also prevent the cracks and the money leaking. out of the CNMI or even within our government agencies. We gotta we gotta operate more efficiently and make sure that, especially in these times of hardship, that we are not wasting the funds that we have, and also the funds that we receive from the federal side.
I understand you're the chair for the Committee of Education.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about your role with that, and especially as a lot of our viewers are, students in that education system or even products?
Thank you very much for that. And I am the chairman of education, but I am the chairman of education in what we call our Saipan and Northern Ireland Legislative Delegation. So with that, the educational issues that I face or that I review in terms of policy only deals with Saipan and the Northern Islands. So our chairperson for the overall Committee on Education is Representative Manny Castro from Precinct 2. Whenever there's educational related bills or policies that affect the CNMI's public school system, or even the CNMI-wide education, public and private, it goes to his committee. So yeah, that's where a lot of the action is at. The committee I chair, again, it's like I like to call it a subcommittee. Even Tinian and Rhoda, they have their own Rhoda legislative delegation, and the funding and stuff that they generate, that just has to tackle, that only tackles Rhoda issues. Same with Tinian and Agigan, the same thing. So SNIOD is also Saipan and Northern Ireland legislative delegation. So not much action there. I only have one bill, and it's a bill introduced by Representative Manny Castro. It's still going through the review process. It's to allow for scholarship funding or assistance for those that want to study abroad outside the United States, colleges. So that's still going through review, and I should be calling a meeting soon to see what action we're going to take on that bill. So that's the only bill I have in that committee. So the committee, it is very important. I mean, majority of the students are here in Saipan and whatnot, but in terms of CNMI-wide issues, it's Representative Manny's committee that handles all of that. Yes.
Again, we're here with Speaker Edmund Villagomez. Thank you so much for meeting with Next Level Media. Can you tell our Next Level Media followers, viewers, the importance of education?
I really believe that education is very important. One of the few things, not unlike everything else, is this is something no one can take away from you. If you've earned it, you have it. You can. I remember speaking to a professor in college, and it's like, you can get a loan or mortgage to build a house. You don't pay that mortgage, they take your house away, right? Education is different. I mean, you graduate, even if you fall short on a student loan, you still have that degree. No, but it's always good. I talk about how I like to de-stress is go to the gym. Well, just keep your mind that the mind is also something that needs to be exercised. The mind is also something that needs to be trained. The mind is also something that needs to be challenged. So, an education it's very important. It has shown that it's it's also kind of like a way out of poverty. It's also a way to break the cycle. I mean, I know some families are going through some hard times. A good education, focusing on your education, can help you make better choices and open a lot of opportunities. For you, for your family, if you're a family person. And it's especially if you have dreams of doing something not related to going to school or whatnot, but it's always going to add value to what your dreams are. And if things are not going the right way, at least you have something to fall back on. So not only is it good on a personal level and on a mental health in a mental health wise, it's also good for your professional and your professional career and your personal growth as well.
Somebody once told me that, your mind should never stop thinking. The investment in the health of your mind is very important. I know that, a human's mind actually, thinks of over 1,000 thoughts a day, right? And, for some of the followers that don't know that, being some social science majors here, that other people are thinking the same 1,000 thoughts, if not the same, but still 1,000 thoughts and more, right? How do you balance your personal and public service life?
Thank you. I think when it comes to balancing your personal life and professional life, again, it's also setting your priorities, and I like to also instill this to the listeners, and also with people that ask me for advice when it comes to school and all that. It's again, set your priorities and follow them as strictly as you can. And even when it comes to just like even working here, it gets really busy, and there are times where it gets really slow. But in the times when it's really busy, if you properly manage your time, if you plan it out, you'll find that you can, and you follow it through, boom, boom, boom. You'll find that sometimes, like, wow, now I have all this extra time. And then you look back at your schedule and you're like, I did all that, and now I have time to wind down, when you're thinking it might be a whole day thing. So, just things like that. Prioritize, stick to it. And then also, so like when you make plans to be with your family and all that, like try to stick to that as much as you can. And also try to develop that relationship and that understanding with your family, or even yourself, that you need some me time also to, again, to de-stress, to recharge, because you don't want to overwork yourself and still continue to work. It might be dangerous, you might be a little reckless, you might miss a few things, and it might not only hurt you but also others involved. So there you go.
Could you tell us who are some of your role models or individuals who have inspired you, either within or outside of the political sphere?
Well, politicals, on a personal level, of course, I gotta thank my parents. I look up to them. I think all the values that they've instilled and tried to instill in us, their children, is very important, and I try to follow it as much as I can. On the political side, I've ever since I've taken on this career, they're just different people. One of the folks that first come to mind also when I was running in my first campaign is the former speaker, and I like to point this out, Pedro Pete Guerrero, also known as Paduna. When I was talking about earlier about making decisions and trying to get the emotion out of it and focus on the principle of the matter, right? That was his advice towards me, to me, when it comes to making decisions. You don't want to make decisions on policy when you're angry or too happy even. You wanna do it with a clear mind, just like almost anything. You just like with everything you decide upon in life too, right? You want to make sure it's a clear mind. You want to do it with a clear mind. So that's one thing. What was the other thing? Someone also advised me, like, when it comes to campaigning, if you can get the people to promote you instead of you promoting yourself, that's another way where it can save you a lot of money, with the campaigning. But then again, like with the dawn of social media too, there's a lot of free stuff there. But if you can get people to talk about you instead of you talking about yourself, that I'm like, man, that's one way to think about things in terms of campaigning. But mainly like my parents, I really admire them. I look up to them. Always taught me to be real and genuine, and yeah, just do the very best that you can, no matter what it is you do in life. No matter how minimal or how important your role is, just always give it your best.
If you could go to dinner with one person, dead or alive, who will that be and why?
And that's probably the toughest question out of everything we've talked about today. Dead or alive? Man, I don't know how to answer that. There's just a lot. Of course, I like to sometime have dinner with maybe, well, some of our forefathers are still alive, but also just some of our forefathers that have probably passed, just to get more of a history regarding our government and how it came to be. And then, of course, there's also family members that have died before my time or died when I was a younger kid that, I just like to get to know them better. So I think I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, nice. Lastly, again, thank you so much, Speaker Villagomez. Any message you'd like to shout out to the followers of Next Level Media?
Well, first off, I want to shout out to the people that are listening, and hopefully you spread the word more about Next Level Media and this project that they're doing. Just keep in mind that even for the young viewers that are not old enough to vote, you're still a very big part of what we do here in the CNMI. We are here to serve you, so it's good to be involved, get to learn the issues that we're facing here in the CNMI. Yes, some of you viewers are just like myself, growing up. Your parents are there to take care of you, so if there's some kind of economic hardship, of course your parents are going to do the best to make sure that you, as their children, don't feel it. But eventually, time doesn't stop for nobody. You're going to get older, and pretty soon it's going to be your time to face those challenges in the music, right? So continue to get more involved, continue learning, never stop learning. And any way you can, if you're out there getting your education, and you're from here, it'd be nice if you guys can come back and contribute, but that's definitely, it will be greatly appreciated. But I just wish you all the best in whatever it is you're doing and your future. Thank you. And also Next Level Media, thank you for this. Definitely any way we can have a platform or a portal for our people to gain access to their leaders, because I'm pretty sure some of them are voters, and maybe they vote based on how familiar they are with the names or family, but it's also good to get to know what they've done, what they've been through, what we're trying to do, and what direction we're trying to, what direction we're going in terms of improving the CNMI. So thank you to Next Level Media for also providing this platform, not only for us, but also for the viewers and the people of the Commonwealth as well. So thank you.
Again, thank you so much. Speaker of the House, Edmund Villagomez, Kyle Hokug, Next Level Media, signing out. Thank you.